In this lesson, we will wrap up our work on the mech's foot controls. Let's have a look at the right foot just to make sure that our locators have been parented and that the toe bones have been constrained. So everything looks great here. Fantastic. And of course, when we start to rotate the control, we'll get some really nice movement. Great. Now, here's something really cool about constraints in Maya. Let's go ahead and grab one of our constrained bones and have a look at the channel box. You'll see that we have offset parameters. This is what we'll use in order to gain control over the main rotate axis of the toes. So what is that main axis? Well, clearly that's the z-axis, right? But we don't want to use the z-axis that has been constrained because it's tied down by the constraint. So instead, we can work with the offset parameter. Take a look at that. That's going to work out lovely. So let's do this. We'll go ahead and select both leg controls. And with them selected, we'll create custom attributes. Let's go to Modify, Add Attribute. All right, again, we'll start with a displayable channel first. That's going to be Extra Controls. We'll make that displayable and click Add. Fantastic. So now we'll create two channels per control. The first will be Bend Toe FT, and the last will be Bend Toe BK. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, the first one is Bend, and then Toe FT, for the front toe, of course. Again, we won't give it any limit, so animators can push this however they'd like. We'll go ahead and click Add, and we'll create one more. So that's going to be Bend Toe BK. All right, let's go ahead and click OK. Fantastic. So now it's just a matter of using the connection editor again, right? So what we'll do is go ahead and jump to our window menu, General Editors, and grab the connection editor. Sweet. Let's go ahead and start on the left side. We'll go ahead and load in that control object. And once we've done that, it's now time to find our constraint. So one way to do that is to select the object that has been constrained. From there, you can head over to your outliner and press the F key. The constraint is nested underneath the object. Here it is. So with it selected, we can now load the constraint on our input side over to the right. Fantastic. By the way, if you ever need to swap sides, you could always use from to here. You can go ahead and switch what side your input connections are on and what side your output connections are on. I like to leave it at the default. I've just gotten used to this default layout. But there are some cases where you want to kind of flip that around. So it's nice that Maya has added this. It's pretty handy. All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and connect Bend Toe FT into the offset Z of this constraint. All right, let's go ahead and test this out. So I'll go ahead and now minimize the connection editor. We'll go ahead and grab our control and we'll start to use that parameter and take a look. We now have bend control over the toe. So where would we use this? Well, let's say if we're animating a walk or maybe a jump, we can create some follow through now in the toe. Fantastic. All right, let's go ahead and take care of the back toe. So again, with that selected, we can expand its hierarchy to get to its constraint. Here it is. With that selected, we can then jump back to our connection editor. I'll restore the window, and we'll go ahead and load that on the right side. It's now time to connect Bend Toe BK into, again, the Z offset axis. So now when we start to move that channel, let's have a look. Everything should work out well. Fantastic. When we drive both values, here's what we end up with. A type of mirroring effect. How cool. And that's simply due to the fact that these bone objects are mirrored. So that's super helpful. Fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and take care of the right side the same way. Again, we grab the control. We can load in our connection editor and load up the control on our output side. Let's now go ahead and grab our toe bone at the front. We'll go ahead and expand it to get to the constraint. One thing you can do is press the F key to search for the selected object. Now, we'll go ahead and load in the constraint and connect into the offset Z channel. So that's tow FT into offset Z, and just one more. Let's go ahead and find the constraint. We will now load the constraint. We will now connect into the constraint. Alright, so let's go ahead and connect down the offset Z. We'll go ahead and now test this out. We always want to test our control. We don't want any surprises. There we go. Everything works out just fine. Fantastic. So that is it for the MXFeet. We've managed to create a really cool control system. Now let's say we do this. In the next lesson, we're going to focus on rigging the MEX guns. It's going to take a few steps. It's going to be a really fun process, so I'm going to show you how we will take care of that step.